Mic is not on now. So now. Good morning. Good morning on this first day of a new month. Some people have a tradition of saying rabbit, rabbit at this moment for good luck. Fall is a season that brings with it the beauty and the color that we all treasure and love. It is also a season of melancholy, that beautiful and poetic word. A time when it seems those who have gone before come into our consciousness and hearts in a new way. It is a month where here at All Souls, we remember those who have gone before us, and we honor their lives and all that they brought while here on this plane. I know that there are those here in the sanctuary this morning for whom this day is a particular anniversary, the first cycle of seasons. And so we hold all of that in our hearts, the joy and beauty of the season, the melancholy that comes in with it, the wondering about the season to come. What will it be? What will it bring to us? And today, on this day, we celebrate and learn more about pluralism, what it means to live together. And so we say, as we do each week, welcome to All Souls, where all souls are welcome. You are joyfully called to worship. I invite you to rise in body and or in spirit, and we will join our voices in singing, "We Are Building a New Way." It is 10:17 in the teal hymnal, if you want to follow along. With love, that is the seed. What a great way to begin the passing of the peace. Gary, we need some music underneath this. Keep on, my friend. Keep on. If you are here for the first time, I invite you to raise your hand so that we may welcome you without overwhelming you. Welcome to this entire family. Welcome, welcome. We're so happy to see you. I see Mark Roble. I see friends with tags on. Welcome to all. If you are here for the first time in the online pews, please indicate in the chat so that we may welcome you there as well. And so we begin by turning to each other and offering each other a greeting of peace. Let us make a joyful noise. Peace be with you all. What? Yeah.
So many things.
Yep. So many things. All right, here's your pen.
What a joyful noise. If that is not sacred community, I don't know what it is. It's beautiful. So, friends, I'm going to ask Nora and Ava to please come on up. And they will help Carolyn light the chalice this morning. Oh my God. Fabulous.
Let's hold for 1 second, so. What do you think, Adam?
and Ava, hold on just a second and let us enjoy your beautiful faces and presence.
All right.
And I will speak the...
No.
No?
We're going to sing
Oh.
Building a New Way one more time. Let's go back to the first, well, the lyric is, here, listen to me. There is no verse. The first verse is, we are building a new way, we are building a new way, growing stronger every, you know the lyric. Okay, here we go. And Adam is going to figure this out. Here we go. Do it again. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. One more time.
Yeah.
All right, there are seats here. Come on down, Helen and Liz. Shannon, come on down. There's seats right in front. And we are going to, what just happened? All right, Karen will say the words and we will continue.
All right. I'll speak them, and you can hold them in your hearts. As we move through life to find ourselves, always wise and newly foolish, we ask that our mistakes be small and not hurtful. We ask that as we gain experience, we do not forget our innocence, for they are both part of the whole. And thank you, Nora and Ava, for lighting the chalice.
And each week we light a peace candle so that we may hold in our hearts the places, the geographies, the people who are in need of extra care and thought. And this morning we give thanks that a government shutdown was avoided in the final hours. And so we light this candle for the halls of Congress, that they may find, our leaders may find a way to continue working together for the good of all Americans. We give thanks for the programs, vital programs that will not be interrupted, and that the livelihood of so many government workers will continue. We give thanks and light this candle of peace. May the congregation say amen.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, Perry, come on back up. Set this up and we'll see what we can do.
All right, good morning. Adam, I need this mic. It's one of those mornings, but it's getting better every minute. So, pluralism comes in many forms, and one of the ways pluralism comes is in many different cultures. And sometimes the way we celebrate culture, our cultures, and share our cultures is through food. So that gives you a hint about what might be happening on Calabash Street. And so I'm going to invite the children to come forward for the story if they'd like, to get a closer look at Calabash Street.
And Liam, come on forward.
And yes, we're inviting
Yeah, here you are.
Liam to actually participate.
Yeah, Liam's
in the
going to help
story.
us tell the story. Here we go.
Mama, what is happening?
Soon you will see, my Misha, but now it's time to go.
At the market, neighbors fill baskets with food for a favorite dish. The Garcias pick colorful peppers, the Yamaguchis choose a fish. Mrs. Puccini hums an opera song. In her basket are flour and yeast. The Dakaris buy a mountain of yams, enough for a fantastic feast. Mama chooses cabbages, as round as a summer moon. Why so many, Mama?
Soon, my Misha, soon.
Along Calabash Street, they swing hands and sing. The air is lush with yummy smells. Something is indeed happening. It's then that Mama tells him. It's then that Misha knows why the Trangs bought kiwis and Mrs. Puccini needs her dough. Why the Lockies roll up grape leaves and the Chauffleurs pour in cream. Why the O'Briens' stew is bubbling and the Cohens' matzo balls will steam. Why the Harrick's rice is soaking and the Shambals steer their curry. Why the Schultzes make a sweet sauce and why Mama and Misha hurry.
At home, Mama boils the water. Add a pinch of spice. Baba makes her best galupsti. The cabbage is stuffed with meat and rice.
Beneath the dancing lantern light, a steel band bangs a beat. Misha whirls and twirls, neighbors wave and greet. Tables fill with savory dishes. Mama and Misha take a seat.
Some of this and some of that. Hooray, it's time to eat. It's a fiesta, a gathering, celebrations in the air. Something's happening on Calabash Street. It's the Calabash Street Fair.
So ends the story.
So the important thing is in pluralism, each dish has an equal place at the table. So the cabbage and the curry and the sweet sauce and the matzo balls, they all have their place and they're all appreciated equally. So today also happens to be National Homemade Cookie Day. You may or may not have known that. But it means that after the service and faith formation, we have cookie hour. And we have a place for each of these different types of cookies that we have at the table. And some of us in faith formation are actually going to make cookies. So we're going to go off to do that and talk more about pluralism. And if you would sing us out with Trees of the Field, that would be wonderful.
Thank you. We shall go out with joy and be led forth with peace. The mountains and the hills will be born before there'll be shouts of joy and all the trees of the field. The cock will clap their hands and all the trees of the field will clap their hands. Trees of the field will clap their hands. Trees of the field will clap their hands. While you go out with joy. Let's all take a deep breath. When we gather each week, we do so and are reminded in doing so that we make certain commitments to each other when we agree to live in community together. And one of those things is to bear witness to each other's lives. Whether our lives are full of grief or triumph, joy or sorrow, we make a commitment to share that with each other, whether that is held in our hearts or shared among us out loud. You may share publicly out loud by writing in the gray book that is in the lobby, by letting us know at Beloved Community at All Souls online, and those in the online pews, as you know, you may write in the chat, and we will read what you write here. Those here in Unity Hall, you are invited to come forward and light a candle of intention. And we open this time for the creation and the sustaining of beloved community. Let us begin. Been shared. You may remember that last week I shared that Paula Nowakowski's son was having serious intestinal surgery. Very sadly, he died this week. And so we hold Paula in our hearts and the entire Nowakowski family. I'll be going to see Paula after the service today, and I will bring your love and care with me. Peter was a good son, a character, and a good son. Karen Ethier Waring, our liturgist this morning, asked that we hold her cousin's son in healing light. He will be having brain surgery tomorrow. Lynette and Sid Gardner are celebrating the marriage of their grandson, Michael, today. He attended the youth group here at All Souls years ago. Congratulations to Michael and your entire family. Susan Zimmerman asked that we keep in our thoughts her brother Dick, who unexpectedly lost his wife, Melinda, this week. So sorry, Susan. My goodness. And her dear friend, Kathy, whose husband went into hospice this week. That's a lot of loss, Susan. We're holding you in thought and prayer. Susan Borgi shares that her beloved father died this past week, a big loss. Our hearts go out to you, Susan. Dason is, you all know Giselle's son, Dason, the gentle giant that he is. He is taking a big step this week, a giant stride in independent living. This is a big transition for Dason and for his siblings and for his parents. And so we hold him joyfully. I mean, this is going to be wonderful if all goes as we all hope, right? Yes. Finally, from the book, we all see that there are lots of guests, family, and friends here. They are here in honor of Ricky Martin, a man who died 1 year ago today. His husband, Steve Taylor, is here with his family and beloveds. They were married 25 years ago by my predecessor, the Reverend Dr. Ellen Johnson Fay, in our old building. And so memory of that joyful day is with the very sad, sad sorrow of his death at too young an age. We are so grateful for your presence here this morning. We hold you all tenderly. You may have all seen the photographs of Ricky here on the bulkhead. He is in the light, quite literally, and in your hearts. Our hearts go out to all of you. From the online pews, Julie Olson shares that she is grateful for the healing of her broken wrist. Oh no, Julie. And then she's out of the brace and doing exercises to restore full function. Sorry for the injury, Julie, and swift recovery to you. And Cheryl Lofgren thanks everyone for our prayers and good thoughts and cards that have sustained her as she recovers from a head injury. I invite you all into a communion of prayer and meditation, which will be followed by a communion of silence, and then we will join our voices in song. Spirit of life and of love, in all the ways known and named, we all hear cries of sorrow as we gather in this sacred space. May those cries feel the balm of this community. Feel the balm of good and joyful memory. The balm that is love, that is stronger than death. We give thanks for the joy that has been experienced in this past week despite the torrential rains. We give thanks for today's sunshine, breaking through clouds. May we be ever reminded that such is the way of life and of love, the cycle of the seasons. We give thanks for this day and all that it will bring. We give thanks, and together we say, Amen. Amen. I invite you to join your voices in singing hymn number 34 if you're following in the hymnal, Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire. You may be familiar with the Disney song, It's a Small World. I learned this song in elementary school, and maybe you did too. It's a world of laughter, a world of tears. It's a world of hope and a world of fears. There's so much that we share that it's time we're aware. nice. My music teacher, Mrs. Boz, would be very proud of all of you. One sets sail on the It's a Small World ride in the Disneylands through an archway that says, "Welcome to the happiest cruise that ever sailed." And that, in short, is precisely how we like pluralism served up, as the equivalent of a sociological Happy Meal. It doesn't matter if you're wealthy and I'm poor, if I'm Asian or Black, Indigenous, mixed race, Latino, and you're white, if you're trans or genderqueer or non-binary and I'm cisgendered, if I'm young and you're old, if you had a safe and secure childhood and I was brutalized, if I live in a war-torn country and you live in southeastern Connecticut in relative peace, if you're straight and I'm gay or bi or lesbian, if I'm a Unitarian Universalist and you're a Muslim or Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist, Muslim, Baha'i, pagan, it doesn't matter, because there's so much that we share that it's time we're aware it's a small world after all. So cue the malarkey that says, I don't see race, just human race. I don't see color. All lives matter. There's hissing in the sanctuary, so let's dig in. This month's ministry theme is pluralism. And to remind, pluralism is one of the proposed articles of faith that the Unitarian Universalist General Assembly will be voting on in June of 2024. These will replace the 7 principles. And the proposed language is as follows. Adam. Oh, Adam. Oh, Adam. Okay, this is it. We celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. We covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We embrace our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect. Not to be confused with diversity, pluralism actually requires work. The hope is to move from diversity to pluralism, which is the title of an essay posted by Harvard University's Pluralism Project. In that essay, religious pluralism is defined as a response to diversity that consists in learning about meaningful differences between cultures and identities, engaging with different cultures and identities in settings where open dialogue is possible, kind of like a faith community, preserving distinct religious commitments and looking to the First Amendment as the foundation of American pluralism. And so to remind the First Amendment, which has been pretty battered over the past couple of years, the First Amendment reads, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. We should all memorize that. Here is a real-life difference between diversity and pluralism. This morning, as part of the Building Bridges curriculum, our 8th to 10th grade youth are taking a walk around the neighborhood and will be made aware of the religious diversity within a mile radius of All Souls. Within this small patch of land, they will observe the following faith traditions: Seventh-day Adventist, Southern Baptist, American Baptist, non-denominational evangelical, non-denominational Pentecostal, Catholic, Episcopalian, Greek Orthodox, and they're starting right here at home at All Souls, where Unitarian Universalism is added to the mix. And so that, dear souls, is some amazing religious diversity that took absolutely no work to achieve. Faith communities simply put down roots in a small New England city. Diversity is a plain fact. Pluralism is a complex process. Do these congregations proximate, as Brian Stevenson would say? Do they engage with each other in any serious way as congregations? Some of their pastors do. I am and have been in ongoing dialogue and relationship with the clergy of quite a few of these faith communities. But do the lay people know very much about each other? You can answer me. No, right? But over the years, there have been some shining examples of efforts to achieve a pluralistic community. And I want to remind you of all of these. The best examples of All Souls, of all of us striving for greater understanding of different cultures and religions are these. First, some of you may remember this, was a program brought to us 10 years ago by a Unitarian Universalist minister from Vermont, Mellon Kennedy. And she has dedicated a good part of her ministry to bringing closer Unitarian Universalists and Muslims. We worked with Mellon to partner with the New London Islamic Center. And when we gathered with our Muslim neighbors, we began with a small group ministry, as sharing circles were called then. We broke bread together and enjoyed a beautiful Middle Eastern feast. We paused for the Muslim afternoon prayers. And finally, we were witness to a panel discussion that involved the Imam, Mahmoud Mansour, among others. It was really interesting, illuminating, but not always comfortable. We did not know very much about our Muslim neighbors, not really. There were conversations about burqas, the head-to-toe coverings women in some conservative countries, such as Afghanistan, were forced to wear. Misunderstandings were uncovered about each faith tradition. It was a wonderful weekend, but it was one weekend. Within that weekend, when it came to a close, the work of pluralism did not immediately continue. And then in 2015, refugee resettlement was a cause that local faith communities of all stripes embraced. I hope that some of the souls who were there in 2013 brought that experience with them in the refugee resettlement effort. It was in this effort to settle refugees in the greater New London area that Muslims, Jews, Unitarian Universalists, Christians of all stripes rubbed elbows to get this project off the ground in order to offer families the support they need to settle in their new country. Raise your hand if you were involved with Start Fresh's effort. Raise your hand high so we can see quite a few, and many more not in the room. Start Fresh began to offer dinners that we would all attend, much like the feast on Calabash Street. Raise your hand if you attended one of those dinners. Yeah, you all came to eat. Yeah. And then in 2019, we partnered with Temple Emmanuel for a musical experience involving Israeli peace activists who were also musicians. The Unitarian Universalists and Jews, we sang together, learned together, broke bread together, and finally we worshiped together. It was a wonderful weekend. You can go ahead. That's Rabbi Mark Ekstrand, a good friend. Our choirs sang together. There was a concert on Saturday night. The children did a story for all ages together that involved a dinosaur. And these were our two guest musicians, Rabbi Ekstrand, wonderful cantor Sherry, our former choir director Tanya. It was a wonderful experience. And I would be remiss if I overlooked a within our walls example of pluralism. For many years, All Souls had a core group of humanists who gathered for study and discussion. And for several years within that many, All Souls also had a Christian fellowship. Rather than an antagonistic relationship, these two groups would meet to be in dialogue with each other, which I loved. There was even one soul, Sylvia Carpenter, who was a member of both of those circles. And that's how you learn from one another. And again, the work of pluralism demands a sustained effort over a long period of time, and so here is an example of one such effort. Since 2019, the clergy of local faith communities have been meeting in earnest to attempt to forge an alliance that will finally be a voice for systematic change where change is desperately needed. Our March Good Neighbor offering, in fact, you may remember, helped to fund the professional organizer. His name is Pat Spear in that work. And toward that end, Pat has met with faith leaders in the area, has convened meetings among us, and has schooled clergy in the ways of powerful coalition building. You may be surprised to learn that the basic tool is one-on-one conversations. One-on-one conversations over lunch, with coffee. And toward that end, I had lunch last week with the pastor of First Congregational Church of Old Lyme, Steve Youngkite. Steve and I have known each other for 10 years. We admire each other from afar. It was the second time in 10 years that we have sat down together. And we sat for almost 3 hours. Nice work if you can get it, right? I'm so lucky. This is how strong coalitions are born. Conversation by conversation, meeting by meeting, slowly but surely over time. And eventually, this January, you will be invited to a large meeting of many congregations to really lift off this project. So stay tuned for that. This organizing strategy has produced a powerful coalition in Hartford of 150 faith communities. We will not have near that number here in southeastern Connecticut. The same is true in New Haven. A sibling coalition had similar success in harnessing the power of multiple congregations, and they're about to get even stronger because as of September 18th, they have a new and magnificent organizer in none other than the Reverend Caitlin O'Brien. She's going to be so great, right? They have no idea. They have no idea. But we know how great. Right. It's going to be great. Richard Blanco is a poet. Many of you are familiar with his work. He wrote of a world where pluralism pulses through daily interactions. His refrain in this poem is, I see you, I need you, I am you. And this beautiful poem is intersected with words from the Declaration of Independence appropriately. And so we will conclude this reflection with a reading of that poem. Karen. Adam, I need this. Such has been the patient sufferance
We're a mother's bread, instant potatoes, milk at a checkout line. We're her 3 children pleading for bubble gum and their father. We're the 3 minutes she steals to page through a tabloid, needing to believe even stars' lives are as joyful and bruised.
Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury.
We're her second job, serving an executive absorbed in his Wall Street Journal at a sidewalk cafe, shadowed by skyscrapers. We're the shadows of fortune he won and the family he lost. We're his loss and his lost. We're a father in a coal town who can't mine a life anymore because too much and too little has happened for too long.
A history of repeated injuries and usurpations.
We're the grit of his main street's blacked out windows and graffitied truths. We're a street in another town lined with royal palms, at home with a Peace Corps couple who collect African art. We're their dinner party talk of wines, wielded picket signs, and burned draft cards. We're what they know. It's time to do more than read the New York Times, buy fair trade coffee and organic corn.
In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress.
We're the farmer who grew the corn, who plows into his couch as worn as his back by the end of the day. We're his TV set blaring news, having everything and nothing to do with the field dust in his eyes, or his son nested in the ache of his arms. We're his son. We're a black teenager who drove too fast or too slow, talked too much or too little, moved too quickly but not quickly enough. We're the blast of the bullet leaving the gun. We're the guilt and the grief of the cop who wished he hadn't shot.
We mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
We're the dead. We're the living amid the flicker of vigil candlelight. We're in a dim cell with an inmate reading Dostoevsky. We're his crime, his sentence, his amends. We're the mending of ourselves and others. We're a Buddhist serving soup at a shelter alongside a stockbroker. We're each other's shelter and hope. A widow's 50 cents in a collection plate and a golfer's $10,000 pledge for a cure.
We hold these truths to be self-evident.
We're the cure for hatred caused by despair. We're the good morning of a bus driver who remembers our name, the tattooed man who gives up his seat on the subway. We're every door held open with a smile when we look into each other's eyes the way we behold the moon. We're the moon. We're the promise of one people, one breath, declaring to one another, I see you. I need you. I am you.
Let's say that together. I see you. I need you. I am you. May the congregation say amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
I invite you to take a breath as we move into the part of our service where we make an offering. As we've witnessed and honored each other's joys and tribulations, let us now prepare for the offering that supports the work of our congregation. Let us speak these words together. We give to the work of all souls. Our work weaves the fabric of love called community.
To this end, we dedicate ourselves and this our offering.
Your offering will be greatly accepted.
For all that you have given and all that you have shared, thank you. I was remiss. I forgot to share during the sustaining and creating a beloved community. Reverend Katrina was reinfected with COVID, as was her husband. So I know you join me in hoping and praying for her swift recovery this second time around. I can't believe her rotten luck. But for everyone who is struggling with COVID right now, as that increases, our hearts are with them and with all of you. Amen.
I now invite you to rise in spirit and in body as you are able for our closing hymn, number 23, in Singing the Living Tradition. Is that the right name of that? Yeah. Bring Many Names, and we will be singing verses 1 and 6.
Please join us in the words that we speak each Sunday as we extinguish the chalice. Our service has ended, but our work is not yet done. May our spirits be renewed and our purpose resolved as we meet the challenges of the week. Our chalice flame is extinguished until once again ignited by the strength of our communion. Those at home, I invite you to put a hand to your heart and reach out to the world beyond as we do the same as we open our hearts. We go into a new week, reminded that to proximate is to open one's heart and to be uncomfortable in the work. And so let us go into that work and into our days, holding close those who are different from who we are and honoring that difference. Go in peace and return again with great joy. Amen. Amen. I invite you to be seated for the postlude.
Beautiful, Gary, thank you. We just have a few announcements. If you're new to All Souls and want to know more about our faith community, please stop by our welcome table, and Lynn Tavermina is there and waving, and she'll be happy to greet you and answer your questions. Next week is Indigenous Peoples Weekend. Eric Wingrove Hoagland will be our guest preacher, and Reverend Katrina will serve as the worship leader. Thank you.
Let's say goodbye to the folks at home. Goodbye. We'll see you next week. There are cookies, because it is National Homemade Cookie Day. Leave some for the children. They become not their best selves if there's some snacks for them. Go in peace, everyone. Thanks for being here.